we are looking at one circle here with a diameter of 6 and a radius of 3, obviously being half of it. We know the circumference of a circle can be found either using 2 pi r as a formula and also as just pi times the diameter can equal circumference as well. I can use my calculator to find the circumference of this particular circle by entering in the numbers we need. We need 2 pi times 3, and we get 18.849. If I took diameter, I could do 6 times pi and get the same answer of 18.849. And the interesting thing here is that we have basically a ratio that represents pi. So if I were to rewrite this second equation, I could write it as my circumference divided by the diameter of my circle, and that would be equal to pi, which is about 3.14 units, inches, whatever units that you are currently using in your work. So if I could also rewrite that same thing using the first equation up at the top here. So I could then divide instead by the radius. So if I had circumference divided by the radius instead, that would be equal to 2 times pi, which is actually a different Greek letter. That is actually the Greek letter tau. And I'll spell it out here for those who aren't familiar with the symbol. And that just represents about 6.28. And if you think about how this works, if our radius is equal to 3, that means that if I were to take that radius, I could lay it around the outside of that circle, and it would go around about 6.28 times. The radius fits into the circumference 6.28 times. If I took the diameter length and laid that around the outside of the circle, it would fit around the circle about 3.14 times. The diameter went into the circumference about 3.14 times. And this is what computers are doing when they are calculating pi, or if they're calculating tau, is that they have circles that are drawn to a high level of accuracy, and they're trying to see, well, what is the ratio comparing the circumference to either the diameter to find pi or to the radius to find tau. And that is sort of where the formula for circumference comes from, in that they're just using that ratio to multiply whatever their diameter is to see how big the circumference would be. Or I would double that same ratio and multiply by the radius length to see how many of those radius lengths will go all the way around the circle. And that is a brief history of where the formula for circumference comes from.